So as far as clearing meaning and shifting perspective, I would suggest that we all can use assistance from somebody else, because if our mind's stuck in one story and only see things from one perspective, it's hard for us to come up with a different way of looking at things, right? So for that, you have a therapist to give you a different way of thinking, a different way of seeing things, perceiving things, in order to start shifting and shaking that energy up. Um, Mindfulness, as I mentioned, is another key to start connecting more to the states of clarity and peacefulness and contentment, where the mind is more and more begins to recognize those moments, even though the mind has been feeling depressed. Um, in yoga, we use a lot of breathing and meditation. Specifically, breathing techniques are really good at shifting energy. In yoga, we recognize that inhales and exhales have different energetic components, right? So if somebody's been feeling depressed, I would recommend to focus on fuller inhales, because the inhales bring energy and oxygen and sunlight. And in yogic practices, we use slight retentions or prolonged retentions on top of the breath, taking the energy in and allowing it to accelerate, to percolate in our energy field in our bodies. um, Meditations on the light. A lot of times I guide people through visualizing the light in different parts of the body, or the light that is traveling to different parts of the body, because even visualizing the light, the mind takes everything literally. So even if we visualize things, we begin to feel it right away, right? So if I'll ask someone to visualize the light either with their center of the heart or into the third eye, sunlight, for example, imagining the sun shining on them, the brain immediately begins to respond by that, creating the feeling right away. So these are some techniques that we can use in therapy and individually, uh, also to help us move through that stagnant energy to more flow. Another thing comes to mind that I've suggested before to my clients is to create maybe journaling, and specifically attitude of gratitude, because a lot of times when we feel depressive symptoms, the mind creates thoughts about what we're lacking, what's not happening, how things did not work out, how things are not how they're supposed to according to our plans, or everything's been bad, everything's been happening for me, it's only happening to me. So attitude of gratitude literally rewires our mind and brain of thinking about things that are actually happening the way that is satisfactory to us, and we're grateful for that. And we're spending some time, we're literally rewiring the brain to think and focus on other things that are actually going well for us. And anybody who would talk about attitude of gratitude would emphasize that sometimes on the days that are completely suck, you can think of something that is very tiny. I woke up in my bed, I had a cup of coffee, I stepped out and I felt a breath of fresher breath. So it could be really, really minor things that we're literally directing our mental energy towards recognizing and appreciating, that helps us to shift our mind naturally and automatically.